up? It's Rick. I'm 1/4 of Fly Supply. I go by Rick the Vibe on IG.
Yo, what's up? It's KP. Social Capital with the K, .LLC on IG. 1/4 Fly Supply.
What up, what up, what up? It's Reg. You can follow me on IG, Reginald Bordeaux, 1/4 of Fly Supply. Also follow the brand, Fly Supply CO.
Hey, what's up? I'm Garrett. I'm one of the owners of Fly Supply. I'm a father, and I'm also a leader as well, and I'm here to make impact. You can follow me on GB. Well, you can follow me on Instagram at GB_King_FSC.
What's up, fellas? We here, man.
Man, we here. We here. Definitely.
We've been talking about this for a little minute. You know what they say, whether it's in your personal life or your business life, one of the hardest things to do is just what? Just starting, right?
Yeah.
I know when it's time for me to get in that gym, I always talk myself out of it, but once I'm there, it's go time. So we've been talking about this for a while. We finally stuck to it and said, let's do this podcast. Let's give the people what they want, what they've been asking for. We dipped our toe in the pool a couple times, and we did a couple visuals here and there on some behind the scenes projects that we've done, but we got a lot of good feedback on it. So we doing this for the people. We just celebrated 10 plus years this past July. And before we even get into that, man, I'm gonna pass the baton to my boy KP here, and you kind of break that down on how we even started, and we'll just chime in.
Well, the spotlight, what's going on, everybody, you know what I'm saying? My bad, y'all boys. It's first time on camera, so this ain't in my comfort zone, but you know what I'm saying? 10 plus years, it's been 10 plus years for real, dog. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, I remember the first time, boy, Rick hit me up.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, that thing was crazy.
Yeah.
With I ain't gonna lie. To me, I feel like we was kind of doing stuff way before even birthing Fly Supply, and stuff like that. Just being around each other, I think all that stuff was like training for us to kind of get to this point. You feel me?
Facts.
And just knowing each other, knowing what how niggas vibe, what everybody into and stuff like that. Before we even started doing business with each other, it's just building vibes.
Right.
Going out to the club, playing basketball.
Facts.
And
Football, everything.
yeah. So man, yeah, that thing is crazy. I remember though the first time I did call KP with the idea. At first I called G. We had another business at the time, but the business wasn't going too good. It wasn't going bad either, but it wasn't going the way we wanted it to go. And then we were just throwing ideas back and forth, what we could probably do. And I was coming home from work one day, and I was freestyling. That used to be my thing. After I get off from work, just listen to instrumentals or listen to music and just let loose. So I'm freestyling, and I said, Fly Supply. I don't know where that shit came from. I just said Fly Supply, dog.
Yeah.
I'm oh shit, that was hard. It wasn't even a bar, it was just a word. I'm oh shit, that's hard. So I called G, and she was yeah, that's hard. I called KP, and then I told KP, man, I want to do a clothing line called Fly Supply. He was what? So I'm Fly Supply. He was what you said again? Then I told him again. He was yeah, that's hard. That's hard, bro. That's hard, bro. He told me what to do to make the logo, and then everything else was that was the foundation of the birth of it and stuff like that.
And that was the thing, man, when you
This in there, it's I believe your story about how G reacted to it, because I reacted to it the same way. So when I heard that, man, I knew that shit was gonna be I knew it had super potential.
Yeah.
So I'm man, I'm trying to be a part of that. I'm trying to really put my energy into something new. Plus, I want to do I kind of wanted to switch it up a little bit. I was tired of dealing with clients and shit like that. So I was down to just start creating something. So I wanted to put my energy into something new. And I remember me and Reggie was working at the time in Lil Haiti and shit.
Yep.
We was
intern with B.
Yeah, intern with B. And we had a media company and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we've been kind of putting that work in. And
a lot of groundwork.
Well, a lot of groundwork. And I remember I was running by Reg. I'm man, I'm thinking about joining them boys and doing this Fly Supply thing. Yeah. That boy Reg was are you sure you want to do that? I remember this combo too. I'm yeah, man. I in the blue room, yeah. So I'm yeah, I think it's time for something new. I need some new energy.
Facts.
that boy Reg like, hey man, just make sure it's what you want to do. You know, the advice. Reg always the advice man for real. So yeah, man. So I remember chopping her up with G all the time. Like this kind of before we even got into it and shit like that. Yeah. Chopping her up with G all the time. I used to be working my 9 to 5. Them boys working their 9 to 5s.
I hated that shit.
Yeah, what?
I ain't gonna lie, man. I didn't like the 9 to 5 so that much, but I can't lie. Like I just love the way that we did everything, and the way how we do anything and everything. Like a lot of times we don't never know what we doing, but then we just be jumping into it. Right. Like right now, we doing the podcast right now. We don't even know a name, but we just rocking. We've been throwing names out there, 4 quarters on the fly. You know that Alicia put out there. But like a lot of time, what I appreciate so much is that, man, we're not scared to just try things and do it on the fly. Whether doing it scared, you feel me? We just do it scared. Like even now, like I'm rocking the shades because this something new for me. So like, I don't want to see a crazy facial expression and it throw me off. I lose my train of thought. So right now I'm just doing this scared. But that's what I love so much about us is that, man, we'll go out and try something. Like when we started even with the brand, I never even thought about us being able to do jackets and shorts and pants. When Rick hit me up, it was just more like on some, dog, it was just like on some, whatever he wanted to do, whatever I wanted to do, we'll just rock. Whether it was illegal or legal.
We just had
whatever it was.
Head first.
I ain't gonna lie.
First.
Everybody got that story of yo, we trying to do something like. I done hit all y'all boys up on some shit, you feel me? But I ain't gonna lie, I like the fact that like we be trying to figure shit out, you feel me? Like I like figuring it out, though. I like how we do figure it out. Sometimes like the ideas always be crazy. Like always be like, yo, that's wild, but then like you will have a crazy idea and then you'll have somebody come with some sense to your crazy idea, dog. You be on that a lot. Like I spit something to Cap and Cap be like, it'll be a crazy idea, but he'll bring the logic to it, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, like, what if you do it like this? It could probably work for real. It's like the type vibe, so.
Yeah. Anything you think of, cause it's kind of life for real. So that's how I used to always see it, you feel me? Like, if you don't spit it, it's like, you just gotta think of the ways to get there and shit like that. Like, just like how we started with the brand, you know what I'm saying? I remember one time when we was really meeting, when we was, before we really started getting to the grind work and the grinding, we used to have these meetings at the duplex in Hollandale and shit like that. I remember like it was, I know about like 2012, we was like, we was having a meeting, you know, we was having these meetings. And it's like, man, hey, it's time to put a date on this. I remember like, man, it's time to just put a date on something, bro. Like,
you was the first to say that.
Yeah, like, yeah, it's time, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, I remember it was the 4th of July. That was coming up, it was like around June. So like I started the Instagram and stuff like that. No, I think G started the Instagram and I hollered at G for the password. Like, man, we gonna revamp it. So we started the Instagram and it's like we knew
Instagram was brand new at the time.
Instagram was brand new. Yeah, so like I didn't know how to use it either. So I just, you know, put filters up. So yeah, we had this little shirt we wanted to drop on July. Man, it was I ain't gonna lie, this is a long story. Like, as far as the Fly Supply story, just so in depth, dog.
Matter of fact, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
But just to chime in on what you was just saying, it's like we all met at Rick's crib actually in Hollandale, remember? Okay. And I came in, I was a new kid on the block, man, and I think y'all hired me to do the websites because I was doing my thing, doing the websites and whatnot. I came in, I saw the hustle, I saw the grind. This is before everything and anything, and I was like, man, I want in. And y'all boys looked at me, I looked at y'all, I was like, shit, we didn't know how to ask you. I said, I didn't know how to ask y'all, but let's rock, let's get it. So, I mean, that's one thing I always respected, man. Even before Fly Supply, even before the name, before this and that, we all came from different backgrounds of like, shoot, before everything, like I was saying, you came from a corporate background as far as like working for Budweiser. You worked with AT&T, Cat was working for FedEx, Kinko's at the time. And so we all had structure working for corporate environments, but we always took skills from those environments and applied it to what we're doing now.
Yeah, that was like,
and that was key.
Yeah, that's like I be telling people, dog, like all the jobs I had, like kind of like was like on job training for me to do this. Like working with, before I worked for AT&T, I was working for Coca-Cola, Canada Dry. You know what I'm saying? Like all these big companies and stuff like that. And they helped me out with people skills, like how to talk business and be able to talk to people and look them in the eyes and like just be able to communicate and sell at the same time. Like you need all those skills to kind of like do what you do for your business and stuff like that. So that a lot of those skills help me out to, you know, be what I am in this business and stuff like that. But I ain't gonna lie, boy, like back then, you did set that date. 2012, boy, there's a lot going on in Miami, boy. There's a lot of money in the streets. There's a lot of stuff going on, boy. It's hard to stay focused.
Yeah.
And like we really, like really did like buckle down and like get there. Like it was like, yeah, for real.
For real.
Yeah, even going back to what you were saying about like the on the job training, I feel like you're right, dog. Like a lot of stuff we did in the past definitely like attributed to what we got going on now. But I feel like that's why it's important, like whatever you do to like just be your best at that shit, bro, because that shit's transferable to all them habits, like the hard work, that grind, that hustle, all that shit going from the 9 to 5 is transferable to your own shit. So that's why it's like you gotta just be on that shit. And that's what I know about all y'all boys. All y'all boys is like on y'all shit. You was at AT&T, you was like one of the best customer retention dudes. I know seeing G do his customer service over here. I knew the customer service at Fly Supply was top notch. G was on top of that, on top of his shit. I knew that came from all your work you do at AT&T and connected with them customers. Reg, man, mastered everything. I ain't gonna lie, Reg's like the man. Hustler. For real, for real. So he gonna make it happen, that hustle. So I ain't gonna lie.
I ain't gonna lie, like just to piggyback what you were saying too, is like all those skills are like I said, this Saturday, all your stories and all your memories, like those stories and memories were powerful, whether it was legit or not. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been knowing y'all boys for over 15 years. I've been knowing Rick for way over 20 something years. And so whether we was doing things that was, you know, right or wrong, you know, we always knew how to plan and strategize on how we was gonna go ahead and make plays happen. And I think all of us collectively carry those same traits, you know what I'm saying? Like the good character, the good vibes. Like meet y'all boys from way back when Joe brought y'all boys through the hood. It was like from day one, boy, y'all boys are solid.
I ain't even know y'all. I met y'all through Joe and I was like, man, some solid dudes. Joe's a solid dude. He ain't gonna bring me around anybody, you know what I mean? So
I know that boy Reg pulled up in the Jag. I know the Jag. Just like, yeah, man, that boy, he got a business. I'm like, okay, that's what's up. Like, niggas look up the dope boys, but I just thought that shit was different because shit, we was like, what, 19, 20, 21, 19, 20. That boy Reg pulling up in the up though, like.
Thanks.
My hustle was different back then. It's 1,000 times better now. It's just that's because I'm picking things from everybody here, man. Like how G moved with logistics. I mean, all right. So look, I mean, if I could point everybody's best skill sets. When it comes to G, he's a preventionalist. Like he rather prevent things from happening before we actually get to that point, and now we have to figure it out. So that's prevention, and that's a skill set I'm sure he picked up from things that he's done in the past. KP, I mean, as far as when it comes to like technical sound work and cleanliness and just having everything done in a meticulous format, so we don't have to do triple or double or quadruple the work. That's where my man comes into play. I mean, he's sick with the graphics. I've been saying this for how long? Since high school. You're the best graphic designer on earth. That's not because I know you, because I've seen the work and I've seen what it's turned into. You know what I mean? Rick, this man, vision and concepts of clothes and trends. Like we don't even follow trends, man. We keep ourselves in a bubble and we set the trends, in my opinion. We don't really go out and venture out and see things. Yeah, we might pick up little inspo here and there, but when it comes to like bringing the next collection out or just envisioning what's next for Fly Supply as far as on the creative end and fashion-wise, I mean, Rick is second to none. I mean, we come together, it's like Voltron, what is it, Transformers, whatever it is, man, and we just kill and we execute. That's the main thing. Ideas turn into fruition and then we just execute.
Yo, what's going on, man? Sorry to interrupt. I won't be long, I promise. Look, head on over to fsc.academy and check out our courses and check out our goods. We dropping a lot of gems. So go check us out, man. FSC.academy. All right, y'all go back to the show.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, right? I was thinking about this, right? I was working out, and I was thinking about this, right? It's like, how important do we think routine, like like, how big of a role would we say like routine is to like getting this far, like having a routine, like in order to be some level of success, like how important was that routine? Cause we had a routine.
Yeah.
I don't even know if y'all peeped it. I don't even know if it just happened at one time or what, but like that routine, it was just like we all had a routine and how important the routine is to keeping stuff going. You feel me? We had a routine, boy.
I know we never planned that. I just think it just organically happened. Like everything, it was just like, man, like if my man is here early, I'm trying to beat him here early. How Kobe used to do it. He beating the equipment dudes and everybody else at the stadium before anybody gets there. So I was like, okay, boom. And I was a new guy on the block, so I had a lot to prove to myself to make sure y'all boys knew that, okay, y'all made the right decision as well. So I always wanted to like keep myself to a certain standard and exceed that. You know what I mean? So we all held each other accountable. That's the key word. I felt like we all each held each other accountable. So when we came together, it was just, okay, I know KB's gonna cross out his T's, and then Rick gonna dot all his I's, G gonna do his part, and I have to do my part. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But when it comes back to your original question as far as routine, I think that happened organically. We didn't really plan for it. I think later on, as we became a little bigger and whatnot, we kind of like broke off with routine. And that's natural only because now we're getting pulled in different directions, different opportunities, but not every opportunity is the best opportunity because that could be a distraction.
Facts.
So I think we do got to get back to the routine of things and communicate and not just assume we all on the same page.
Facts, facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Roughly, what do you feel with what the routine was when you say like we had a routine?
Man, we had a routine. I felt like it was like Reggie just said, man, like the routine of being cohesive. Like we'll all be here at the same time. Everybody was like, everybody in here and everybody outside in the outside world, they knew where we was at. They knew where we was at. Like to this day, they know to come knock out that door at a certain time. Cause they know them boys got a routine. Maybe them boys be waking up, hit the gym, maybe 5-1, whatever it is. Probably goes, whatever it is. But it's a routine, but then we always knew to get back to that hustle. Like we know how to get back to that hustle. We know how to, you know, block out the outside noise. So I was thinking, I was just sitting back, I was pondering about it. I said, damn, like dang, like the routine. I wonder if we even realized that we had a routine, and also how we were able to keep focus when a little bit of the so-called success started to happen. When people knew who we were, how did we still, like, what was driving us to still stay on that routine? Like Lil Wayne wearing it, Rihanna wearing it. What make you still get to the shop at that same time? What makes you? Well, I was thinking about it, like what made us keep doing it? You know what I'm saying?
Man, I think for me it was just the hunger for more, and not more material thing, but just the hunger to just prove everybody wrong and prove myself right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I don't know, like egotistical thing, but in a sense of, you know, we all heard it. I think you just posted something this morning, man. How that little T-shirt line going?
Oh yeah, you're right.
And I'm sure they look at that now and they have to laugh at themselves, like, damn, well, at least give us props.
Sometimes I think people don't even, like when they say that, I don't even think that they say it out of like a real put down. Like it ain't coming from it ain't an intentional put down. Like, but they don't know that word trigger. Because I used to hate when people was like, love, like you doing the love, like. Don't put love in front of this. Like, how you gonna put love in front of, like, son, we on, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you feel me? But, like, man, I'm glad that those words strike nerves, because, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it's supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to, like, trigger you to kind of, like, all right, man, you know what I'm saying? Even, like you said, not even on no ego type vibes. It's just like, man, yo, I'm gonna show you. We ain't no little boys, like, you feel me?
Yeah, yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, like you said, like people don't even realize that they do that.
Yeah.
And like I ain't gonna lie, me, since I think, and I think we all are, you know, but like I think we move with so much passion. Like, but for me, I used to like when people say stuff like that. I use it. I get motivated. I be emotional.
Gotta turn it into motivation.
Yeah, and I be emotional. And so when you say that little thing to me, I like it. I might do an extra rep. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna do something extra just cause I probably was just going to get the regular car, but now I might go get something with the engine just because of the little. You know what I'm saying? I probably was gonna get one chain. Now I might get two, just for the motivation. But I think what kind of kept me, with the routine. I mean, a lot of reasons, but I remember when we were supposed to go pick up the shirts, and I believe, not even believe, I remember your sister passed out the blue.
The first day, like we dog, that's the reason why I quit my job, and that's the reason why I'm like kind of like a nigga go hard with this job too. Shit, the day before she passed, she had like cardiac arrest, something like that. So I'm trying to leave work early, and them boys is like, yo, what you leaving work for? I'm like, yo, my sister in the hospital. So like basically, in a nutshell, nigga, like, is she dead? Cause you know what I'm saying, you only could get time off if somebody passed, or you know what I'm saying, like, nigga, I can't even. She was alive still. I probably could have seen her one last time before she was gone. So shit, I wake up the next morning. I'm like, man, I'm just calling out. But shit, I made it to the hospital. She was already gone. So I'm sitting there, dog. I'm seeing her on the bed. She dead. And then, like, man, shit, I ain't gonna lie. I got motivated through death. Cause every time somebody die, that shit just remind me, dog. You go die too one day. The clock ticking, boy. You know what I'm saying? So, you feel me? So, like, shit, I just look at death differently. It hurt, but I just look at it in a way where, like, it kind of got to remind you, yo, you got a job, or you got something you want to do, so you got a purpose. Go ahead and get that shit. So I chilled to the hospital for probably like 30 minutes with the fam. And then I was like, yo, G, let's go to Mr. Moon, kid. We had this
Mr. Moon. Oh, well, 20.
Yeah, we had this dude printer named Mr. Moon, kid.
Yeah. Mr. Moon, yeah.
We picked them shirts, man, nigga. Like, I ain't act like it didn't happen, but it's go time. And I feel like that's probably one of my reasons why nigga semi-successful or on the way to success. Cause you know what I'm saying, nigga got an angel up there, and on top of that, you know what I'm saying, nigga just chose not to let that shit fuck me up. Cause some people like, man, that's trauma for real. Yeah, just to like, dog, your whole world changed. To see somebody and then you don't see them no more. You know what I'm saying? Like that's trauma to your brain, your heart, all that shit, dog. Yeah. So like, you feel me? I just look at that shit in a whole nother way, but like I'm not glad it happened, but I'm glad the way like the outcome of it. You feel me?
Facts. Yeah. And that's what I think that we all have is like that ability to work through trying times. And then I think the commitment that we all have to each other, whether we said it or not, is that I always knew y'all boys had my back. You know what I'm saying? That happened to you. KP went through a tragedy. You know what I mean? But at the same, a big tragedy that most people would have folded. You know what I'm saying? So, but what I witnessed was he still know that we needed him to get certain stuff done, and whether he was doing it broken, I mean, all of us do it together, but whether we did it broken or not, it was still getting done because boy, they know we got to still get paid on every week, so it was still getting done. Like all of us was able to weather some storms, and that's the part I think everybody don't understand about the grind and about the being dedicated.
Myself included. I mean, we all like Rick just touched base on his sister passing. KP.
I ain't touched base, but yeah,
you know what I mean. So. You know, KP had a situation that was really traumatic for all of us. We all felt that, you know what I mean? And I was going through my own personal situations, but I knew I had an obligation to my team as well. So I had to show up every day, even if I didn't want to, you know what I mean? And even though my mind might be somewhere else, but I know I committed to this and I got to stick it through like everything else I do in life. So that's where that accountability and that trust comes from. And where that routine also came from. I think the routine gave us a reason to not break it, because we knew how it would flow already, and if it's not broken, why You know what I mean? Like fix it.
Right. And then, like you were saying earlier too, it did happen organically, like just getting into that routine. Because, you know, it's a character thing. I think all of us definitely have a strong character, and that comes from, you know, our background and being raised by like our parents and, you know, whatnot, the backgrounds and lessons we had coming up.
Yeah.
So our characters, like the strategy they speaking of was when I lost my father in like 2018. That, like, just like Rick said, it's traumatizing. Anyone who loses anybody, any type of heartbreak or whatever, whether it be death or breaking up, it's trauma. Like, you can't really judge someone else's trauma based on like your life situation, because everyone takes life differently, you know what I mean? So they could have their trauma triggered by something totally different than you might, but you know, they're still affected. So when I got affected by that tragedy, me and my family, you know what I'm saying, we it was just a blessing to have like these dudes right here, you know what I'm saying, y'all boys, like, you know, still holding it down. I think that's the biggest thing, like, you know, that them boys gonna hold it down. You still gonna do what you wanna do, but you still, like what Jay-Z said in that song, if everybody in your clique is rich, your clique is rugged, nobody will fall because everyone will be each other's crutches. So it's like, you know what I'm saying, your boys holding you up while you going through this little trauma and shit. That's definitely a big part. And that type of character is what led us to kind of like come up with the routine, and just like that character, and also just being aware of the situation. Like being aware that it's time to kind of like take it seriously. Every time we had to level up, we had to change the way we hustle, like learn new shit. We had to do all types of shit. We had to we had to get burnt a couple times in different situations. Like
school of hard knocks.
School of hard knocks for real, taking L's and learning
major L's. Buying ourselves out of contract. I don't know if I remember that.
First, like when we first started though, like, bro, we took so many L's, like, in the L's like, all right, so I came up with the name, and like, you know what I'm saying, like I said, I called KP. KP's told me how to, like, what to do to kind of like come up with the logo. KP made the logo, and that shit was hard. So we set on, dog. We started the line, what, 2012, but shit, the logo and shit was made like 2010. Dog. But before how we got there, dog, the reason why I called KP was because when we was in our business, I just tried making the shirt, the Weird Rock shirt, and then KP told me what to do, and we made it. It was alright, you feel me? But he kind of like showed me like, damn, boy, you could do something else. I ain't never think about having no clothing line or nothing like that. One of our homeboys, Mike, he had a line called Prestige Royalty. He still got a line right now, but he had a line at the time, and he kind of like opened up my eyes, like, okay, like, this is something that, you know what I'm saying, you could do. Like, I ain't never see it physically, me physically doing it, or physically being done by anybody around me until he did it. When I say, I was like, all right, this hard, you feel me?
And that goes back to exactly what I said, how we even started this. Like, the hardest part is just starting. You know what I'm saying? You had all the tools, had all the elements, you know how to do it. Now it's like, okay, well, I'm playing hot potato with this. Let's just do it. Let's head first. I think that's always been our motto. We always jumped head first into it.
Right.
You know
I ain't gonna lie, it was hard at first though. Especially like, dog, after we got burnt, like we had a printer, like Mike. Thank God for like Mike, because he was green as fuck. Green, dog, like Mike, green. But I ain't gonna lie, like
we needed
sometimes you need green people in your life, dog. Like everybody play a role for a reason. Like Mike, man, he used to print our shirts. We was just doing low runs. I ain't gonna lie, like Mike used to give us some shitty ass work sometimes, like, but we ain't know, dog.
Edit that out, either.
We ain't know, niggas ain't know it was shitty work until we started printing ourselves.
It's crazy.
He used to give us shirt, the ink wasn't even cured all the way. So what curing is like when you put plastic salt on the shirt and you send it through the dryer, that's how this stays on the shirt. That's how, like, you know what I'm saying, you gotta cure that shit, you gotta dry the ink in the shirt.
People take a hell of short.
Bro, I'm selling shirts on the job. The next 2 days, somebody come in, oh man, my shirt, the ink that came off. You feel me? I'm like, oh shoot, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, dang, I ain't even know about none of this until we started actually printing ourselves. And the way that happened was one day, we gave him a job. I guess it was kind of like I want to say it wasn't even a bad job. It was just like, it was a complicated job for him. Like a lot of colors, like a lot of color shirts, different things and stuff like that. And he got real frustrated with us being small time. And he was like trying to do big time work for like Shoe Gallery. I think he would print for like Shoe Gallery or Southern Shirts or Shoe Gallery. This is like around the time when like everybody was big on matching shirts with shoes. Heavy. Like it was sneakerhead. That's when sneaker con and shit like just first started and stuff like that. And shit, me and Garrett pulled up to the shop to get the work, and he ain't even answer the door, dog. That boy sent one of his homeboys to the door, and that nigga just had a box at the door, dog. So I'm looking through the box, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, it ain't even no shirts. Niggas filming that shit. We don't even print shirts. I'm like, what is this? What you do with this, dog? I'm like, what you do with this, dog? I'm like, what do you do with this? What you do with this type? You don't know what to do with it. So we end up saying, like, I remember that job, like, man, fuck it. Let's go get our own shit. Yes. And like, how we get that shit? We started doing research on it. And like, man, that shit 10 bands, boy. Like, boy, niggas got bread, but not that type of money, like, at the time. Not at the time.
Sleeping on that.
Yeah, not sleeping on that, dog.
Something on that, man.
And yeah, and then that's when, you know what I'm saying, G came up with a plan financially to do it. Everybody put their bread in. I think I know G old boy gave the other half and we paid that thing back, you feel me?
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy.
My bad.
Yeah, nah, we paid it back, and I think that was like, I used to always have different ideas to do different things, and so that it was good for me because my dad, that was the first time that he supported something like that, but it wasn't his fault because it's not like we had it like that, but he actually, you know, took that, I believe, from a retirement fund to situate us with that. And yeah, so
I didn't even know,
I
just found that out.
Yeah, so yeah, my old boy,
shout out to Mr. Brown,
believing us, you know what I'm saying?
To this day,
character,
to this day.
Yeah, to this
That's
day.
another reason why, you know what I'm saying, probably not even like in your head you probably don't even know. But in your heart you probably know. But that's probably another reason why a nigga goes so hard.
The motivation,
like,
man.
My old boy leading me. It probably ain't even that much of bread. Like right now it's like nigga be like, yo, I need 10 bands, I need 5 bands. Like get that shit off and don't think of it. But like I said, around that time, boy, he got a heart, so he's gonna give us half. And we gotta get how much a piece? You feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying? It was a lot of money, dog. Like at the time, it was a lot of money, dog.
Yeah.
I remember when we first got the machine, they dropped the pallet off to the crib. I'm staying in the duplex, bro. They fucking dropped the pallet off to the crib. Me and G pulling all the stuff inside. So, like, we just pulled everything inside. We putting everything together, dog. And I remember one night, I'm just like, man, I'm just sent to the crib, nothing to do. I'm like, dog, I'm finna print a shirt, dog. I'm gonna try some shit. So I tried that job. I remember calling. I'm like, hey man, I don't know what we got ourselves into.
I remember you saying just that too.
It was like 100+ pieces, right?
What? That thing was crazy, dog. But we ended up figuring it out. Like, but it wasn't easy, dog. Like every night it was something. Like, bro, we used to stay up. Like every night we used to stay up till like then at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, dog. And then after we done fucked up everything and didn't even get some niggas sitting on the fucking stairs talking about what Lamborghini we about to buy.
Going to Denny's.
Facts.
Oh yeah.
Sick as hell off the chemicals.
That discharge.
It's crazy.
Yeah, man, I ain't gonna.
What?
For real.
I'm having to sit in the living room. We had to go through them YouTube videos to even learn how to do this shit. And I remember y'all boys was mastering the whole coating the screens and shit like that. Shit like that.
It's crazy. But I ain't gonna lie, even before we go even deeper into that, it's because all of us had discipline, you feel me?
Right.
But then it's like, where did we learn
those disciplines from? Because it's not like we magically, like you don't magically learn discipline. Like it had to start probably like in a childhood or something like that. So it's like where did that start from? You feel me?
I feel like, man, I don't really even want to say discipline. To me, I ain't gonna say I'm disciplined. Like, I'm not gonna say I'm not disciplined. I don't think I really knew too much about. I just was hungry. You feel me? Like, I just like bread. Like, you already, if there's some shit to make bread, you already know I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I can definitely agree. You the least disciplined of the crew. That's because you're a free spirit and you live in the moment for real. And we kind of need that balance every now and then.
Facts.
Keyword every now and then.
I'm being honest with like for real. I can't say like dog. I can't say like well like man I was disciplined. I'm a disciplined like no I'm not that dog. Like I know for a fact like shit for me it was fun like just. Dog, this is something I never did before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the way I got into it is because of the fact that I'm going through the mall shopping. So, what made me feel like I could do it, I touched the shirt. I'm like, man, I could do this shit too, dog. Like, you feel me? So, like, that was the fun. The fun is really what kept me, like, there. True. Even if this shit wasn't working, it was just funny, dog. Like, it was just funny, dog. I remember one time, we printing out the crib, we trying to make some shirts. That boy Cap had pulled the screen down, but that shit. That's the whole that Cap, but Cap had at the time he was living like crazy. That boy big dog. We used to call that boy Cap with a beast kid. That boy Cap pulled the screen down, dog. The whole screen broke down, and they was mad as hell. Dog. He was like, I ain't touching it no more, dog.
You be frustrated, dog.
I know for me, my discipline, man, it probably just starts from home. Just at the time, my mom she was a single mom. It was just me and her for a little bit, and we had a village. You know, I come from a great family, a lot of cousins, a lot of uncles. I got a lot of game from them, just seeing how they moved growing up. But just seeing how like we didn't even have it like that. But growing up, I didn't even know we didn't have it like that. You know what I mean? Because she just always gave her last, even to this day. You know, I'm up right now. Like I can do for myself. I can do for my actual immediate family now. But she's still always willing to help. And I know that comes from her. That's where I get that from. And just being, like I said, like the new one on the block, man. I just felt like I owed it to y'all boys to show y'all, man. And when I commit, I'm gonna commit all the way through. And till the wheels fall off, man. And I feel like that's why we literally sitting here right now. Just to answer your question.
When you came on, Reg, I ain't gonna lie, we was making moves as far as like design wise and like just putting out shirts and stuff like that. But when you came on, like you really did like you came with some whole nother hustle like type vibe. I was like, man, Reg move fast, boy. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Which is a gift and a curse. Yeah, but no, it's good because it kind of got the ball rolling. Even if it was rolling in the wrong direction, we started gaining momentum. True. I remember we bought, bro, like the reason why we did get a shop, we was hustling out. We was hustling out of my crib. That boy Reg Jimmy Jones fast. Yeah, we was hustling out the crib. Reg just came on, and I remember one night we like, man, let's try to use discharge. We ain't even know about this shit. It's like discharge is like. Basically, rather than using regular ink, using like a chemical shit that bleaches the shirt rather than like rather than putting ink. So it's like a bleach type ink or whatever. So we in the crib, dog. You don't smell it. You don't smell it when you printing it, but you smell it when you curing it. Right. And that shit woke up the whole crib, boy. I'm talking about the smell, nigga. We printing this shit like 2 o'clock in the morning. I just had a jit. We curing that thing. Next thing you know, we just had everybody in their rooms coughing. It was strong. Yeah, it was strong. Like, dang, you had to open up the windows and stuff like that. So, like, man, Reg heard about it. He was like, man, nah, man, we can't be doing this at the crib. You got a new baby, dog. Nah, kid. So, we had got a shop. We went to go see it. They're like, nah, this ain't gonna work. And we had went and got another one. But if you ain't do that, we want to start looking for the right type of shop.
Damn, I remember that.
Yeah, you put the deposit down and that shit was fun.
Yeah, I was like, fucking put it in my name, man. Let's just go. Let's just figure it out. Yeah, it was crazy. Damn, that was
we went to Opalaka.
Yeah,
and then we went to Opalaka
bad
for a while. Yeah, getting it down.
trenches.
With 1,000 square
Oh, what?
That's a
About 1,000 square feet, and we just outgrew that, and just boxes on top of boxes. It was crazy. It was getting it in for real, like because it didn't even have a peephole, so you didn't know what the hell was waiting for you on the other side of that door. Remember?
right.
And we were in the trenches, like the trenches. Like we was leaving at 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, and not knowing what's waiting for you on the other side of that door. But we had a mission, and just came back every day.
Facts. Pretty much. And so it makes me think, like I was listening to something one time and the dude was talking about the Belgian horse or something like that. And he was talking about like how the Belgian horse by itself can pull 8,000. It can pull 8,000 pounds by itself. But then like if you pair that same horse up with another horse, they won't pull 16. They'll pull 25. Cause now they working together. They on the same goal. They'll pull 25. So by itself it only pulls 8. Together it pulls 25. So I think that's like when we connected back then. When I heard the dude say that, I would be thinking about us. Like we was all pulling our own little weight, doing whatever we was doing. But then when we came together, you know, that's why I had the 4 quarters thing. I was thinking about 4 quarters as a whole. And so when we came together, it just it 10x, you know, to another level. Cause like you were saying earlier, having that team, when you down, you can lean on somebody else as your crutch. You feel me? And I think that's what we do so well. And we get to throw something out, somebody throw something out there, and then we just build to it. Rick might throw out, or any one of us might throw out an idea out there, and it might be like, nah, or it might be something that we feel like we struggling. I might complain first, and then one of y'all boys might be like, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't even that crazy. All we gotta do is this. So then it started building that momentum, that strength. And then, cause I always, and I still do feel like we was always able to figure out everything. Even when that machine came, boy, I ain't want to leave my job. You know what I'm saying? I was driving trucks at the time. I think me and Rick I was the last one to leave. But I ain't want to leave. I think when the machine came, that boy,
it was go
the machine came, well, I think I hit cap. He said, "Oh, I want off the job already." I was like, "Boy, I ain't gonna lie. I wanted to kind of, I wanted to hold on to 2 things." But pause. But the reality of it was that when I left, then I was able to focus, you know, fully on
put all your attention to
your attention all on that one thing, and then we put all our energy. That book, I believe, KP, you bought it for everybody. The One Thing. And I read that book, and then I saw how all that stuff makes sense. You know, just focusing on that one thing. So I feel like, man, being that we were able to focus on that one thing, we was able to take it to another level, and then everything that we learned, like, from the crib, being from Miami. Like we saw certain things. We saw the people who wear the jewelry. We saw people, you know, that kind of inspired the way we dress, and inspired like, and then not having a lot also inspired us as well to turn that hustle up. You know what I'm saying? Even more, you know what I mean? And letting that be the motivation. Like, I remember we used to go to them shows.
I was just about to say that.
We used to be like, yo, we know our stuff better than these people.
I was just about to add on to what you was about to say, man.
But we know they wouldn't allow us into those stores, and they still didn't. I remember we met with one of the guys, I ain't gonna call his name, but we met with a guy in Vegas. I remember we told him, we cornered him in, I believe.
I remember that.
We cornered him in the booth at the Magic Show, whatever
we
it was.
gotta do.
I remember like, what we gotta do? We got the #1 brand in the world. And I believe we were just starting out. Cause like, when we first started doing the preview, nobody had saw that hustle. We had Remy.
What?
We was the only ones coming with Cuban links. We had Remy's and
candy.
Flyers.
It was fresh.
Brought that Miami hustle.
We came to Miami hustle. Brought the Miami.
Brought that grassroots, the Miami hustle
to Georgia,
to the preview show. Shout out to Carla and the other guy with
I forgot his name.
I forgot his name. He had the bald head. But
they showed us mad love.
They showed us a lot of love, especially Carla. I remember she's paid for our dinner, our lunch at Spondivits.
Yeah, that was love.
So it's like
to this day we communicate with Carla.
Just talked to her, text her yesterday.
You
know what I'm saying? So it's like we really was able to add something to the game. And I mean I think that's what's so special to me, that that, you know, I was, you know, still able to, you know, be a part of that thing with the boys. You feel me? Still being able to be a part of that stuff with the boys, man, and being able to accomplish some amazing things. You know what I'm saying?
With so much more to go too, man.
Facts.
Sure. So we spoke about like how we started and some of the trials and tribulations, how we turned our L's into our losses into lessons.
Yeah.
Let's address the elephant in the room, man. It wasn't always just 4 of us. We actually had a 5th member.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And the viewpoints weren't always, coming from his perspective, weren't always wrong. I just think coming from the environment that he came from and the strict structure that he came from, he tried to apply that to a free spirit creative environment. I think that's kind of where we started bumping heads a little bit and where we just wasn't meshing. But the problem that I felt like personally was like, damn, it's just too much too soon. Sometimes you got to take baby steps and let the wheel roll. You know what I mean? And let the motion actually just come into fruition on its own organically. I think that's kind of how we are quote unquote successful, is because we didn't rush our success. You know what I'm saying? We took baby steps. We didn't gravitate to everything that was thrown in our face. We just kind of like matured into our own, and then the fans actually grew with us.
Facts.
But I feel like where he came from was like, man, every down counted. Like, I need my reps, and if we don't do this right now this way, then it's not happening. You know what I mean? So I think he wasn't completely wrong, because it goes back to that word you were saying, routine.
Facts.
He brought routine.
Facts.
He brought structure. Yeah. He brought time management.
Facts.
And which is something that we need now.
Yeah, I'm about to say the same thing. I'm about to say the same thing.
So it wasn't all wrong. It's just I think the timing. Timing. That's one of the main things that we always talk about is timing, man. We have so many opportunities on the table, but it's just timing. Timing has always worked in our favor. And I just think at that time it just wasn't the right time.
Yeah.
Facts.
You know,
I definitely agree with what you said.
Yeah.
Because I definitely didn't disagree with everything that my guy brought to the table. Incredible man. And I will also say, like, man, just a man of if he gonna stand on that, he gonna stand on that. Ain't no budget
in real time.
In real time, he gonna stand on it. And you always know where he's at. Right, you gonna know exactly how you feel at that time. And I always commended that about my guy, man. There's always love.
That's one thing I respect my father. That's one thing I respect about him too. Kid was definitely like, he was 100 for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm used to like that type of vibe. You know what I'm saying? Just being like, wanted to get addressed right now, right then and there, and then really come to a solution. I feel like he did bring that to the table. And just going back to what you said, I definitely feel like the timing is everything, because what he was trying to focus on back then, it could definitely be needed, like, could definitely be used right now, like, as we speak. And I think he was just kind of like maybe ahead of his time, you know what I'm saying?
That too.
I mean,
I feel like, man, he a cool dude. You know what I'm saying? We all cool. Everybody cool. We ain't no problematic dudes. You feel me? Niggas trying to get bread. Always. You feel me? So, his bag's over beef. You feel me? Always. But I just feel like, man, it's like you could look at the Lakers right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes it's the team, kid. Like, it's like, man, you could put a whole bunch of superstars together. I don't mean you go win.
Yeah.
So, like, man, I just feel like, man, like, it just wasn't good. It seemed like it was at one point, but like I just felt like, man, at the time while we was there, it just wasn't the right fit for like everybody, like characters and stuff like that, like, and at the same time, like, shit, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I just felt like, man, like, I just feel like some point, like, man, if you go be on the team, you can't be selfish, dog. You gotta be selfless. You know what I'm saying? And like that's why I feel like, man, shit was a lot of like things that was go be in. I don't even know how to say that shit without rubbing niggas the wrong way.
If I could say this though,
like what I love about us, man, is like we don't give a damn who gets the MVP. And going back to that word you just said, is team. I could care less who's in the forefront, who the lead singer, this and that. As long as we eating and the team wins,
that's it.
Man, I think that's what sets us apart. Because what's the number one thing that people always asking us? Yo, 10+ years. How the hell y'all managed to
Right, that is the number one
stay
thing.
together this long?
Mm-hmm.
No egos, no like, damn, look, what you got going on?
They can play the
Like,
back all day.
everybody can play the back, but the team always wins at the end of the day. And I could care less who's in the forefront, who's this and that, who's getting the spotlight. Nobody gives a shit about none of that over here.
Yeah.
And I could say that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's always like, I feel like regardless who gets the MVP, from the public's perspective, we all MVPs behind closed doors and we all winning at the same time. So I think that's what gave us longevity.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I feel like that's definitely a valid point for real. That we ain't got no egos. Sometimes I feel like we be too cool. You know what I'm saying? Like we just be like, cool
we
as hell.
do be too cool for school sometimes.
Yeah, but I ain't gonna lie, that's how I am naturally. I know that's how these boys is. Niggas gonna be true to ourselves. I'm gonna be true to myself for sure. So that's just how it go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean,
That was the other thing, cause
it's the first time we spoke about
I'm
this.
thinking of suspense music like I ain't expecting
that was some interesting times, man.
Yeah.
Say damn that we had
It was
to
fun, though.
some mouthpiece and some boxing gloves. Like, damn, bro.
it was
We're just trying to win, man.
It was good times. You know what I'm saying?
We're just trying to win, man. That's it.
it's like, man, is everybody deal with certain things in a different way, dog. Like, and you see how like you mentioned earlier, like I went through something, KP went through something, Reg went through something. We all go through things, you feel me? But I say, like, man, we don't really, and it's a lot of the times, dog, like, even though you was going through your thing, Reg, KP, like, if you ain't saying nothing about it, if you never say anything about it, I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
We still laughing, you know what I'm saying? We still dapping each other up. You know what I'm saying? Your energy might be a little off, but like I ain't gonna know until you tell me what's going on. Like, kid had a lot of like personal stuff going on in his life and it's understanding, but at the same time, like it ain't know how to like work as a team with going through those things at the same time. So true.
I mean, what I could say too, I'm speak for myself personally, is that when being around all you guys, dudes that you know what I'm saying, that everybody get it done. Sometimes when you working in a group, you got to start figuring out how do you have your own identity amongst like a stellar group of people. You know what I'm saying? Because like, all four of us are different in some kind of way. But what I know that we do well, we don't really veer off in each other's lane. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, like, as, attention, the light start getting shined on the group, like, some people don't know how to handle like, oh, this person is getting a lot of attention, this person is getting this sort of attention. You know what I'm saying? So I think that you just have to be sure within yourself and just see where you add value at.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because everybody add value in different ways. You know what I'm saying?
Man, attention is a bad drug, bro. Nah, Jesus, you attention seeking kid, like that's some other shit, bro. Like for real, bro. That's why I feel like we don't even be like you say, like, well, niggas too cool. Like niggas ain't. And like, whoa, you did that? Like, yeah, I don't care. I did it. That's what I'm supposed to do. You feel me? Like, seeking no validation.
And even at the same time, man, what I try to remind my team too is like, man, we got to celebrate our small victories.
That's true.
Let's bring it back. Like Mike, he put us to the side because he was working on Shoe Gallery. Not only did we end up in Shoe Gallery, Foot Locker, Nordstrom, we just did a pop-up with. I mean, sometimes they don't see our vision, but we have to see our vision.
Facts.
So we need the negativity sometimes because we have to turn that into motivation.
True.
So
that's true.
That's kind of how I look
it's
at it.
a balance, bro. You can't have no. You got in the world. You can't be like, yo. You need good and evil, dog. If it was all good, man, should be crazy.
It got to balance out.
If it wasn't for him, like, return the box, we would never got the machine. We would have never even been like, we need to start printing. That thing kind of like got our gears turned. Like, man, we need to do this ourselves.
And then we would have been start doing like Mike type prints, heavy Heavy plastic salt. Heavy plastic salt. You feel
Big
me?
like
We wouldn't know nothing about reducing the ink. We
Right.
wouldn't like that shit was a real turning point for us to learn. You know what I'm saying? Like we turned that L into a real like lesson. Like we really learned a lot, dog. Like even if you need to know these things when you doing your own type of business. You can't just say, yo, I just want a shirt printed. You need to know how you finna tell them, yo, I need you to use this type of ink. I need you to do this way. I need you to use this technique.
The screen number.
Yeah, the screen number.
They got real technical.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
Got technical. I'm thinking like, man, it ain't just a regular screen. Like, no, you need this screen allows this amount of ink to come through.
And this much detail. We ain't know this though. We had to learn this like on the fly too. We had to go to different like other printers and ask them, and I do our own research. So yeah.
My bad. I ain't want. But let me ask you this. It sound like we talking about depth. It's talking about like we had to really get our hands dirty. You feel me?
Oh yeah.
So what competitive? If I was thinking about this, what competitive edge do you feel, or do y'all feel that we have over the people? Because right now the times is different from when we started.
Yeah.
It's like now, with the information, technology and stuff like that. Like people can jump into cutting so right off the bat. When we started off with just t-shirts,
Right. Yeah.
but since we really put in the groundwork, like we really touched the ink, like we really coated our own screens, had the red light set up, everything, had the forehead press, only able to use 2 because the room was so tight. So what's the competitive edge that we have, over people that's just getting right to where, like doing cutting so right away? So they just started their clothing line in 2021, but they're able to make the same sort of pieces that we make. They got homeboys that's jumping in the league.
Way more capital.
They got more capital. Right. They got homeboys that's got ties to the industry. Like, what is our competitive advantage?
If I could say something, I would say, me personally, I would say it's the willingness to get dirty and shit, get our hands dirty and learn this shit for real. And then also being aware that, it's a long game. You know what I'm saying? Everyone want that microwave success. They want to do it and they want to make sure they do it now. I mean, we willing to kind of like learn from the ground up and like learn the like you said, the depths. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's what I feel is the competitive nature we have. Y'all boys want to try.
As far as the competitive edge from my perspective, man, from a personal account, just seeing how we literally started from the bottom, one customer at a time, I feel like the competitive edge that we really have is that those same customers have stuck with us to this very day, 10, 12 plus years later. I still see the same names coming up on online orders. That's how hands-on we are with our business. Josh just ordered us.
I seen that too.
The other day, I seen it come in. I screen captured. I was like, man, I sent them 100. I like, that's what's up. And that's a dude that I know since college. Still supporting. Now, yo, Rich, I'm gonna run away. Why do you need to know if I'm at the store? He just supports organically. He supports because he really wanted to support, and it was a big time order. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's the competitive edge that we have, is that our day one customers are still with us to this day, because not only have our designs evolved, but our customers also evolved as well. We got more mature. We got kids. We got families now. We got more responsibilities. So that translates into our designs. So organically, they just came up with us as well. So I feel like that's the main competitive edge that we have.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, so, and I'm thinking like too, all right, cause I feel like we had that competitive edge too. We got that staying power. You feel me? And just everybody that believes in us, and who we inspire. True. And so like, what I be thinking like, what makes us be around for another, for a longer run in this game, like. Because at some point, it is something I be thinking about sometimes. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I be thinking about like, dang, like, you really can't compete with youth. Because they got a lot more time, and they know all the hot stuff.
And they got way more L's to take before they really learn a lesson. Right. You could take a good amount of L's. Right now, we limited on the L's that we can take.
True. So, like you said, we limited on the amount of L's that we could take. And so, how do we extend the game longer?
I mean, kind of like the extended game, dog, is like you already set yourself up to extend, because you set up a brand. Like when you start thinking like outside the box, with what you could do with your brand. You ain't just a clothing line no more. You know what I'm saying? You're a brand. You feel me? We can make. Well, I don't even be thinking like, yo, we just make. Now that we done gained all this knowledge and took trips to China, you know what I'm saying? We ain't go over there just to see clothes. We went to their technical factories and stuff, started looking at other stuff, you know what I'm saying? So it's like really like to that stand power really is like your brand name, you know, you got the customer base and you got the brand. You just keep building on your brand. Like Polo, you know what I'm saying? Them boys got everything. Nike, them boys, you know what I'm saying?
Legacy brand.
Yeah.
I mean, and even to go off that, it's like, okay, going back to that elephant in the room, you know what I mean? I remember one time a man said, I'm not trying to sell t-shirts in my 30s and 40s. We damn near 30, 40 now, you know what I mean? At least, you know, we getting up there. We not the young kids on the block no more. So with that being said, I feel like vision. As long as we stick to that vision, or restructure our vision too. Sometimes you got to restructure the vision.
Facts.
And realign yourself. So instead of taking all these crazy obstacles, you could just kind of go in a straighter line.
Yeah.
So I feel like vision is going to help us.
Yeah, and then what Rick said definitely mad facts and stuff like that. I ain't gonna lie, just the brand and the IP, the intellectual property that we created and stuff like that. It has so much power, and I don't even think we realize it yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we don't realize the full potential. I think we know, but I think
we haven't even peaked yet.
Yeah, I think it's something we don't even know yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay, we can do it with this, and we got the IP set up. Now I feel like it's time to just time to build on top of what we, just like what Rick said, like trying to build on top. Now it's trying to figure it out. You feel me?
Okay.
Most definitely. Okay, well, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Well,
I feel like we touched base on a lot of things.
We touched base on a lot of things. I
definitely.
think with the strongest point, like I was saying before, I see the impact with us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I see the impact. You know, whenever you have, I read this somewhere. Wherever you did, like I said, whenever you have just substance, you go unknown. Like they'll be like, oh, those are great guys. If you know them, you'll just go unknown though. If you just have substance, and then if you only have style, it only equals out the flash.
Yeah.
And then people don't respect those kind of people anyway. People that just flat, like just got style, and that's it, no substance. You're just gonna, you know, people don't respect those guys.
Yeah.
But then when you have substance and style, that's where you want to be because that creates the impact. And I think that's what we've been since we started. I always thought that, and we know, like we said, we got conversational pieces.
Yeah.
But I never knew how to articulate it until I read that in a book, The $100 Startup, and I was like, whoa, this is it right here. This is Fly Supply. It's style and it's substance. You know what I'm saying? I think like if we could continue doing stuff like that, not, you know, and being ourselves like we've been doing since day one, then I think that we could be here for a long time. Yeah. And be able to continue to put people in position to grow as well. So I would love to be able to continue to do that with y'all boys. You know, to the fourth quarter, to the last click. You feel me? To the last tick on the clock. You feel me?
That's what's up, man.
So that's what it is. You feel me?
Do it.
All right, y'all. So you made it to the end of this episode, man. Dope. We got even way more things to give you guys. Be sure to go to fourquarters.podcast and learn more information. Subscribe, like, share this, tag a couple friends, do all that. And then also check out FSC Academy, where we'll be dropping our ebook, our training courses on how to build a brand, teamwork, just everything from how to actually even trademark your logos, the whole nine, man. We're giving a lot of free game on there. So sign up, tune in, subscribe, like. See you on the next one.